So you made the decision to host an event. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. You picked the date. Maybe you locked in the venue. And now you're probably asking yourself, what now? What's next? Come here. I got you. This is the Events Make Sense podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in. I am Natisha Crockett, your guide on hosting purposeful and profitable events. This podcast are for women who want to use events to grow their brand and their bottom line. And today we are going to be talking about how to actually reverse engineer your event where profitability comes first. So let's get into it. Now, I periodically will put this post on my Facebook. I don't know if you guys remember that trend. I honestly don't even know if it was a trend, but like it's kind of old, where you put like a question on your status, whether it's on Instagram, on Facebook, and then it's like a multiple choice answer that people can pick, but it's like a different color heart. So I will put this question out quite often just to kind of gauge the energy of my audience and kind of see where their thought process is. Highly recommend. I call this like a probing question post. So if you are looking for people to raise their hand about something, this is a great post to kind of get them to do so. But anyways, the post that I put out, I say, if you are to host an event, excuse me, if you are to host an event, say like in the next 90 days, what would be your main purpose or your main goal for hosting that event? And then I would have my colored hearts. And my colored hearts would say, I want to host for community, or to grow my visibility, or brand awareness, or make money. And I always put make money last. And it surprises me how many people do not put my green heart for money. It's always, I want to build community. I, want to inspire people. There's so many answers and none of them are make money. Like I said, I will put this post out, once every blue moon. And every time I put it out there, there's only like one or two people that like straight up will say, yes, I want to make money. And it always baffles me. And then when we think about the state that we're in and the cry for help that the event industry is in with these events that are being hosted, it is no wonder that those are actually the answers. Again, it just kind of reinforces the fact that we are missing strategy in our events. Because here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with building community. There is nothing wrong with wanting to inspire your audience. There is nothing wrong with wanting to build your brand or increase in visibility. But at the forefront of your mind, you should want to make a profit. Because at the end of the day, if you're hosting a brunch, hosting a conference, and at the forefront of your mind is not, how can I make my money back? You're literally just hosting an expensive party. And why would you do that? Like, what is the reason? And so I think we have to be very, very intentional with our overall goal. Because if you go in with the mindset of, yes, I'm going to inspire, people are going to leave so happy. They're going to leave, so motivated to go out and, apply this strategy or, whatever the case may be. No, that's not, that probably won't happen. And so, with that being said, when we reverse engineer our event, we're going to think with the end in mind. I know you have probably heard of that before. We want to think of the end in mind. And the same thing is true for your event. Because if we are saying to ourselves, okay, I want to have a profitable event, that means every decision that you make is either going to move you closer to that goal or further away from that goal. And I think this is important when it comes down to things like budget and when you're trying to figure out where best should I, invest my money in. If you are deciding between, decor versus something that to add to your swag bag that is going to be maybe something personalized for your attendees, and you're trying to figure out which one to cut out, well, you need to cut out the decor, right? Because when you add these intimate touches or you're just making your audience feel seen, that's going to make them feel connected to the event, and that's going to make them feel connected to you. And in turn, that's going to leave good thoughts and good feelings and good sensations, and they are more likely going to buy. Okay? Again, when you think with profitability at the forefront of your mind, every decision that you make should lead to, is this going to increase the likelihood of a conversion? There is nothing wrong with asking that. There is nothing wrong with making decisions based off of that fact. And the sooner that you free yourself from believing that you can't make money at these events, the sooner, the happier and more profitable you will be. Because here's the thing, vibes are not going to pay the bills. Okay. You may want the best vibes at your event, but vibes are not paying the venue invoice. All right. And so when we begin to reverse engineer our event, there's a few questions that you need to ask yourself. First and foremost, you want to ask yourself, what is it that you're selling? Because again, I am of the mindset that if you are having an event, your event needs to lead your audience somewhere. And just to really bring this point home of making sure that your event leads people somewhere, think about the disservice that you're doing if you have, just created this space where your audience feels welcome, they feel seen, they're having breakthroughs, and their transformation is taking place in this short amount of time. And then you say to them, okay, thank you for coming, see you next year. And they're looking around like, that can't be it. What's next? They're like pleading. They're begging you to tell them what's next. And that is how it should be. Not you not guiding them somewhere, but they should be expecting, they should be wanting something next. Because if you are setting up your event in a way that is actually bringing forth transformation, your offer is the next step. And not only is it the next step, it's the obvious, it's the natural next step. And they're going to want to take it. Okay. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're selling? And in my opinion, you should be selling something that has already sold. What do I mean by that? I mean exactly what I said. You should have proof of offer. People should have already purchased this offer. People should have already had results with this offer. You don't want to bring forth a new offer. And this isn't everybody, and this isn't always, because there are some people who can put out anything and they have an audience that will eat it up every single time. If you know that you don't have that type of audience, or you're building your audience, you have to make sure that you're either offering something that you know is tried and true, or you have to make sure that you are creating an offer specifically for the individuals that are actually in that room. So what does that mean? That means that you need to survey, and that means you need to make sure that you are communicating and asking questions about where your attendees are who are going to be in the room. If not, you need to move forward like a tried and true offer, because I have seen women host events and they bring out this new offer, no proof of anything, no proof that people even want the offer, and they pitch it, crickets. You don't want that to happen. And so the safest bet is moving forward and selling an offer that you know has gotten people results. So first things first, figure out what it is that you are offering. Next, you want to put a number on it. Identify how much money you want to make at your event. And you don't need to be realistic. Truly, how much money do you want to make? Put a number on it. Put a number on it. You need to ask yourself, how many people would you like in the room? And here is where we need to humble ourselves just a little bit, right? Because I talk to, a lot of women, and they'll say, I want 100 people in the room. My goal is 100 people. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's start reverse engineering that 100. When you think about how many people you have to invite to your event, I like to times the number by 3. So that means if you want 100 people in the room, that means you actually have to personally invite over 300 people. And for a lot of the women that I'm supporting, they don't have a ton of money for ad spend. So if you are going to be doing this the more natural or organic way, that isn't realistic. Okay. And so start thinking about, what if I had 30 people in the room, right? What if I had 25? What if I had 15? Like I said, and I think I've said this before, intimate events are where it's at. People are craving intimacy. They're craving connection. You can make money in rooms with less than 30 people in them. You can. Okay? So figure out how many people you want in the room. Figure out how much money you want to make. And then figure out what the offer is that you're going to be selling. And once you have the answers to these questions, it is going to be a lot easier for you to move forward with the planning and the marketing of your event. Because if you know how much money you want to make, or if you know how many people you want in the room, well, now we can break that down and figure out, say you want 30. Okay, if I times that by 3, that means I need to at least invite 90 people. Creating a guest list of 90 people from all your socials and the people that you know in person, that's a lot easier than coming up with 300 people, right? And so you don't want to feel defeated right before you go in. And so, another reason why we want to reverse engineer this is because, again, every decision that you make, from marketing, from decor, all of those decisions are going to tie into your profit plan. Does this lead me more towards the likelihood that I'm going to get a conversion, or is it not? And you have to continuously ask that question over and over. Even some of the things, like when you might be hosting a, pre-experience event, and you have to ask yourself, like, hey, is this intentional? Does this make sense? Like, is this actually pushing me more towards conversion, or am I leading myself more towards hosting a party? And so you're going to continuously be forced to ask those questions or answer those questions, over and over. And then when you figure out how many people you want in the room, you're then able to curate your guest list with profitability in mind, right? Because if you are focused on converting, that means you're going to be a lot more intentional with the people that you're going to invite into the room. You're going to invite people that are interested or have the potential to be interested in what it is that you're offering. Maybe you're not inviting all your friends, and that is okay. And so sometimes when we are hosting events, we have to get out of the mindset of, I'm hosting a party, versus, no, I'm actually hosting a a revenue generating machine, right? That is going to help move my business forward. And so I hope all of this made sense. Being able to reverse engineer your event after you have made the decision to host an event. If you are in the space where you have just begun marketing your event, I would highly, highly recommend you taking a look at the show notes and downloading the conversion toolbox. This is a tool that I have created to help you get butts in seats, to help you sell out your event organically without any ads, and to make sure that your event is completely set up for conversion. So that is all in the notes. I thank you. I am so honored to be on this journey with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.